This is not financial advice. I just hope you brought your oven mitts, baby, because if you can't handle the heat. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. Oh, man. So we're going to cover AMC again here today. Quick update just based on the price action here in the morning. I will be going live at 8 a.m. CST if you are interested in watching the live price action before the bell for AMC. So let's just get right into the video. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trades. We're going to give technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. We're going to get right into this video, so let's dive into the day for AMC. So what are we looking at as of right now? Well, I did put out a video yesterday, and oh my God, by the way, absolutely blown away and humbled by the amount of people that decided to watch this. This is absolutely mind-blowing. To all of you who are new to the channel, welcome. It's good to have you as a part of the team. And I definitely want to keep providing as much information as I possibly can to everybody out there in order to help clarify some points and really unify the community here. I said it in my previous video, but I think the coolest thing about what is going on right now, this AMC movement, is the fact that regardless of where you live in the planet, your political background, your age, your gender, your sexual orientation, the color of your skin, people are coming together to fight for the same cause. And that is absolutely beautiful to me. And if you feel welcome to do that here in this community here at Trades, I will gladly have you, and so will everybody else here. So as I said before, welcome to the crew if you are new to the channel. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, yesterday we saw an extreme amount of market manipulation happening with AMC. We saw what is known as a short ladder. I will briefly run this down, but essentially what is happening is you've got short sellers or hedge funds that are buying and selling back and forth to each other algorithmically, bid sizes of between a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 shares, and we may be seeing this happen right now before our eyes in real time here on the level twos. And we saw the same thing happen here today at the pre-market open. We're seeing that same ladder short selling, that market manipulation in order to confuse the market making system and drive the price down, right? We had another thing happen, right? We've got naked short selling. Now, what's naked short selling? If you have 100 shares of a stock, right? You've got 100 shares of a stock for AMC, and that's all that exists in the market. Let's say just hypothetically, they're all being held right now. Well, you can create apparently counterfeit shares or shares that don't exist and create another 100 shares, right? So what does that do? It dilutes the overall share price. It decreases the overall value of the stock. And we do see that happening here as the price begins to drop. So as more shares, just based on the basics of supply and demand with a company, right? If there's high supply, there's low demand. Low supply, high demand. Well, the more shares exist in the market that are floating around, right, that decreases the overall demand for the stock, which decreases the price. And we are seeing that happen right before our eyes. I was asked, what is this right here, right? These huge wicks. Now, this is speculative, but this could be in order to set and sell off based on limit orders. So this could be market makers specifically setting the price to come up to $19.80. We've got it hitting $19.30, $19, $19.50, and here, $16.11. And what this could do is trigger off some limit orders that were previously set in order to sell off some shares. And immediately after this, we did see a sell-off in the after hours yesterday. That's another grade A market manipulation tactic. I'm telling you right now, this is not typical. This is not a candlestick pattern. This does not just happen in the after hours. This doesn't happen in general. That doesn't make sense. So we shouldn't be seeing that. And right now here in the pre-market, we're seeing the exact same tactics that were being used yesterday by these big hedge funds, right? So what should we expect for today's price action and leading into tomorrow? Well, today is Tuesday, February 2nd. And as I stated in my previous video, the end game here, and of course, this is not financial advice. Everybody's in a different financial situation, but I am going to hold my position here in AMC. I'll tell you what, I got paid by Patreon yesterday, and I'm going to be transferring over $3,000 of that to get into AMC and increase my overall position in the stock. And I will just show you right now exactly what I've got rocking. I was paid $3,591.17. I'm going to be putting $3,000 of that into AMC immediately today. Once that hits this account, I am hopping into this. And that is my game here, right? So I'm 100% in this movement with you guys. To me, it is about more than making money. Of course, there is a lot of opportunity to make money here, right? Because if the squeeze does end up happening, that will be the end goal. You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this crush. It's gonna squeeze the crap out of hedge funds. You're gonna make a crap ton of money, and the potential is extremely high. So if we look here on the 1 month chart, right, the last time that we squeezed, we went from $2.31 up to $25.80. A huge squeeze, and that's not something that that you can make up. That's a 1,000% increase in price, right? So if we see that same amount of push, what you'd be looking at is $10 up to $100, which sounds absurd, right? It doesn't sound possible, but let me show you some numbers that can verify and tell you exactly what I mean. So I've got two different sources pulled up here. I've got Fintel. Fintel, as I shared yesterday, was updated on February 1st of 2021. We've got 76.9 total million short volume shares being traded, 433 million total shares traded at market volume, which is an absolute ratio of 18% short volume. So if we come down here and compare this to the previous day, right, that's 147 million shares. So that's about half as much as we saw previously. Now, this might be concerning. You're thinking to yourself, how is this possible? How is the short volume lower? Well, what could end up happening, guys, is the overall amount of shorts, since they were ladder shorting down, right? They could have been able to take profits from this overall position and escape some of their issues here, right? Now, I've got another source pulled up, which is Ortex. There's a couple different things that I want to point out to you. So the first thing is the utilization right here. So what's the utilization? If you're not familiar with what utilization is, luckily Ortex will explain this to you extremely well. The ratio between the number of shares on loan across all outstanding loans in the wholesale market and the number of shares available for lending at lending programs. 0% means that no shares have been borrowed or lent at these lending programs. 100% means that all shares available to borrow or lend at a lending program have, in fact, been lent. This does not represent the number of shares listed on the exchange that have been lent, because all listed shares are available for lending. It indicates how much of the supply actually available for lending has been lent. Unless otherwise specified, this is given in decimal format. So that means that currently 92.96% of current shares available to lend out are being held. 92.96%. And that is not taking into consideration the naked shorting, right? So the naked short shares, the shares that don't exist, the counterfeit shares, they're not going to report that because it's illegal. It's illegal. So this tells you exactly what you need to know. This tells you, hey, we've got a crap ton of shorts right now that are holding a crap ton of shares, and they are in the hurt locker. So the options that expired last Friday, right? If we pull that up right now, I want to show you guys something. Options, they are a fact. And what we're going to be looking at here from Market Beat is the AMC overall short interest. And I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. So if I pull this up, we can see that the price on record date of $8.63 for these 44.67 million shares sold short did in fact expire, right? So those options are dead. And if we come back here to the 15th, I want you guys to see something, and it's this right now. The price on that day never touched $8.63. What does that tell you, right? Well, that tells you that they weren't purchased on that date. They weren't sold on that date, I should say, right? $8.63, you're likely looking at somewhere around here. So what that tells you is these options are in fact expired, and we are expecting them to buy back those shares sometime in the next couple of days, right? So if we can hold above $9 as we have in the past, the opportunity here for us to make this squeeze happen is still alive. It's still very, very much alive, and I really want to double down on that and help everybody understand that that is a fact. Another thing that I want to cover right now, days to cover on loan. I think there's a lot of confusion on what days to cover is. So what I've got pulled up right now is a walkthrough on basically what everything here is. So how many days volume the current shares on loan equate to. Note average daily volume is based average 3-month daily volume for the given security across exchanges. So essentially what days to cover means is the total short interest divided by the average volume. So a shorter days to cover means that shorts are able to cover their short position in a shorter period of time. If they need more time to cover, meaning that you're expecting the price to have to come down, you're expecting, let's say it's 8 days, right? So if we look here, 9.95 days to cover, it's going to be hard for the shorts to cover in this situation as compared to 0.80 days to cover, or as it says here, most updated, 0.71 days to cover. That means that there's a lot of tension happening right now between buyers and sellers. Now, this might scare you guys, right? That might be a frightening number to see in your mind. But what this essentially means is we need to buy and hold our shares. The less that we can give to them, the better off, because they're not going to be able to. I mean, look at what you're seeing right now. The total utilization is 92.96%. That means that there's only about 7% utilization remaining for these guys to legally continue to short their shares. And that's huge. That's not necessarily saying they're not going to continue to naked short. But if they do continue to naked short, guys, that is just increasing the overall potential of this squeeze. This is huge. This is so huge. 92.96% utilization of the total available shares to be lent. That's a lot. That's a huge, huge number. Now, if we look here on the charts, what are we looking at? Well, just looking at this at first glance, we are in a slightly upward moving channel. Previously, before we opened on pre-market today, we were in a nicer one, right? We were stair-stepping every single day, 1 higher low, 2 higher lows, 3 higher lows, and we are still setting these higher lows. But instead of having, 3 touch points, which is a much stronger ascending level of support, we were looking at 2 touch points. So 1, 2, right? So we're still setting higher lows, and that is a good thing. And I actually want to show you something regarding Volkswagen before they had their historic mother of all squeezes. So this was referred to as the infinity squeeze. And I want to show you guys something that I actually find very interesting. This looks really similar to what we're seeing right now on the charts on AMC. We've got this little mini run up, right? Nice little squeeze, harsh pullback, which we see it comes all the way back down to previous lows, right? Back down to, I think this is in pounds, 200 pounds. Well, check this out. Look at the stock right now. We've got this little mini run up, what looks like could be the beginning of a really harsh pullback, right? And if this follows any sort of trend to Volkswagen, before this pullback could come this squeeze, or after this pullback. So if Volkswagen, the infinity squeeze, the mother of all squeezes, and I recognize this is not a vacuum. We're not living in a vacuum. This isn't the exact same situation. But look at this. Over a period between September 12th and just up to the beginning of November, we saw this whole process play out, right? So if this is any indicator of the possibilities of what this squeeze could do, guys, I'm telling you, it could be insane, right? This is not over. We're not looking bad. Think about this in retrospect. Right now, we're down 25%. So there was a time in AMC's volatility where we were actually down 60-some percent, 66, 67% from the peak of the run-up, right? So we ran all the way up to $25.80, closed that previous day, around, it would have been $16.69, and then opened the next day right around here at $11, came all the way back down at one point to like $6.54. So this is nothing in comparison to what we saw with the previous rundown and the previous short attack. This is the very definition of a short ladder right here, guys. These are the hedge funds selling back and forth between each other. I mean, look at this. This is a picture-perfect setup. We've got the George W. A George W., if you're not familiar, if you're new to the channel, is a double bottom. This is typically a bullish indicator. You can see that W formation right here. That is a bullish indicator, and by all means, this should have continued to run. But look at this. The shorts were squeezed, ran all the way up to $25.80, and you know what they did after that? They came back into the fight. They short laddered. They sold their shares back and forth. They manipulated the market. They messed with the algorithm of the market makers. Ran it all the way back down to $6.11. But look at this. If it could run all the way back down from $6.11 to a height the next day of, this looks like $15.98. Look at that range. Look at the volatility of the stock. This stock right now, guys, is still volatile. It is seeing some crazy moves. We were at $17.14 as a high yesterday, currently trading at $10.20. And we've seen 980 as of the pre-market right now. So we know the volatility of the stock. We know that it can cover multiple dollars in a single day. We know the volume is there. If we look at this on the daily chart, this is trading extremely high to what we've seen in the past. 54 million shares total here, right? We look at this, 1.2 billion shares traded in a single day. 570 million, 595 million, 418 million. So volatility is driven by volume, and volatility also drives higher price valuations. And as long as we've got that volume, the possibility is still there. We just simply need to continue to hold and buy and hold and buy. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my take on the situation as of right now. And if you're not familiar with what a short attack or a short ladder is, I'm going to read you off a quick description. I want to make this very quick as I did cover this in my last video. But just in case you do not know, I'm going to read you just the single paragraph discussing what a short ladder is. The short manipulates the law of supply and demand by flooding the offer side with counterfeit shares. They will do what has been called a short down ladder. It works as follows. Short A will sell a counterfeit share at $10. Short B will purchase that counterfeit share, covering a previously open position. Short B will then offer a short counterfeit share at $9. Short A will hit that offer, or short B will come down and hit short A's $9 bid. Short A buys the share for $9, covering his open $10 short and booking a $1 profit. So this is something that these hedge funds are doing in order to cover back some of their losses. And this is also leading into the naked short. And a naked short is an invention of the securities industry that is a license to create counterfeit shares. It is illegal. You are watching market manipulation before your very eyes. And I've been asked by quite a few people, Trey, if this is happening, right, and we can't control these market makers and these hedge funds manipulating the market, what's even the point of us getting into this, right? Well, I'll tell you what the point is right now. We've seen that we have power as a group of people and as a community in order to fight back in this situation, right? So they drove the price all the way back down to $6.60. We're at the lows right now. This is an emotional roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster. I 100% understand that. But 2 days later, guys, we touched all the way up to $17.89. In 2 days, we covered an $11 spread. That's insane. That shows you the power of what we've got going on right now. That is the power. That's the power of this community. By myself, I can't do anything. By yourself, you can't do anything. Together, we can do a lot. And I genuinely think and mean that. And we are still setting higher lows and higher highs, right? So we saw a couple of days of consolidation here on the charts, right? We see we're stair-stepping higher lows, higher highs. We are still slowly moving upwards. And if we look here at the candles, this is actually really reassuring to me. We've got quite a few bullish candles, even though we're bleeding right now. We've got this fat hammer candle, which indicates that this is a hammer candle. If you're not aware, that is also known as a shooting star, and this typically indicates that there is weak selling pressure. So sellers tried to drive the price down to the bottom of this wick, which is at about 1093, and buyers step back in to push the price up to 1150. This indicates to me that there is so much buying pressure right now. I want to show you guys something that I posted on my Twitter, and this is actually very interesting, and this really shows you what's happening right now in the market. I shared this because I found this on Wall Street Bets. You can find this on Fidelity, and it is very indicative of what is happening right now. So look at the buy and sell percentage for AMC. All you have to do is buy and hold. Yesterday, there was 95% buying presence, 5% selling presence. That is insane. That shows you what we're doing right now, guys. That shows you the market manipulation. That shows you that people are buying and holding this stock, and that we're in the same boat, right? So that really is what I want to double down on is from yesterday, right? From yesterday's close, the big changes. What are the big changes? The big changes are we know the days to cover is 0.71. We know the utilization is 92.96%, which means there's only about 7% available for them to lend legally. But if they continue to naked short, GME had a short percentage of 250%, guys. So if you saw what happened there, you saw what happened with GME's short. They went absolutely bonkers. They went insane. They went from $40 up to 500. That's the very definition of what I'm talking about right now. I don't know why I just changed it, but look at this. $45 in 1, 2, 3 days. Covered $517. And look at this. So check this out. We saw a high here of $159 on GameStop, and then it was short ladder attacked. We saw sellers, hedge funds come in, short the stock from $159 all the way down to 64. Man, I'll tell you what right now. If the GameStop buyers and holders can sit through that, a literal retracement of absolute hell, look at this. That is as bad as it gets. That is over a 78.6% retracement. That's a 100% retracement. It touched to the bottom. That indicates to me a lot less buying strength than what's happening right now in AMC. There's a way higher amount of buying strength in AMC than in that before that huge run up that we saw with GameStop. Right? So what's indicated to me is we haven't had a 100% retracement. We have actually been stair-stepping and setting higher lows and higher highs. Check this out. Every single run-up, setting higher lows and higher highs. We never 100% retraced. 2580, we never came back down to 450. We came back down to 660. That's a harsh retracement, right? But we never gave back everything. And that indicates to me there's a lot of buying pressure. There's a lot of people holding. There's a lot of people that are not willing to let the price be driven down on this stock. I said this in my last video, and I'll say it again. I 100% believe in this movement because as people, I feel like if I have the power to assist and control the situation with the hedge funds, because their end game here, guys, is to bankrupt this company, to take the money from you, and to make back their losses. They're getting greedy. They're doubling down on their positions and saying, you know what? I know we just lost this, but screw it. We're going to put in more money. We're going to screw these retail investors. We're going to bankrupt the company. We're going to put these people that work for the company out of work, and I want to stand with it, and I genuinely want to pass that message along. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I simply want to pass along the wealth of information that is available to me and to you, and the numbers are the numbers. The numbers are what they say. We know the options expired. We know that the days to cover is 0.7, meaning that right now shorts can cover sooner if the days are longer. That does indicate that the shorts need more time in order to cover, which typically indicates a lot of pressure, right? That indicates that there's a high squeeze ability. But check this out as well. So if we look at their days to cover here, when did this huge push happen? It happened right here. When days to cover was at about 1.89, we saw the push. We didn't really see much of a squeeze at all when this was 9.95, right? So look how high this was. We didn't see any push. Even with all that pressure, nothing happened. This has been a long time in the making. And there's still some room to run here, guys. I'm telling you that right now. And that is what I have for the video. So if you enjoyed it, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. And lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull, which is a platform you're watching me use right now. It is a great platform, allows you to trade in the pre-market for free stocks with a $100 deposit. I receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel. If you're not interested, that's totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking the time to watch my videos, my friends. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.